Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm going to take a cliche that many of us, or phrase that many of us say, and we're going to kind of put the microscope on it. And this is the starting point for today. Going to make you think, maybe answer some questions in your mind. Things happen for a reason. How many times have you heard that? Things happen for a reason. Do they? What's the reason? What's the plan? Was this already pre-planned? And it seems like it just was spontaneous, that situation that arose. And now you're looking at it. Sometimes these situations can be challenging and you might drop into the victim mode for a moment. How did this happen? How could this be? Was it supposed to be? That's our starting point. I am wondering how he's going to attack this. He has so much insight, so many different modalities to move your life forward. And it could be acupuncture. It could be types of coaching, hypnotherapy, energy healing. His resume runs deep into all of this. We might get a little deep today, but for a good reason. DiStefano joins us once again on the program. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you, Steve?
Are we supposed to be here today?
Everything. It's as we look at it. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to just jump straight in. Um, on the most simple example that I like to give, on the physical, we could argue about evolution. And I'm not going to say that animals haven't changed over time, but there's obviously intelligence behind it. If you look at an animal like the Atlas moth, and anyone can look this up, it has two perfectly drawn snakes on it. So I would ask you, at what point did the caterpillar learn what a snake was and how to draw it, and then do it perfectly well in the chrysalis? So there's an intelligence guiding life, perhaps living life, in every way, shape, and form. So I'm currently, there's an amazing book, Reality Transurfing, and I'm actually doing some work with it. And my life happened to run into the chapter that I was doing. In other words, the exercise in the chapter is to not attach too much importance to anything, because once we do, we sort of skew reality, and reality has to correct itself. And I'm using reality loosely. It could be any sort of intelligence that's behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And so events in my life happened. And what I've started to notice with the patterns, and if you look again at your life, my patterns happen in ridiculous ways. I will have, so in this case, it was people not exactly being upstanding, and multiple people over and over and over. It all happened at once to the point where my defenses don't work anymore because, we have our ways of protecting ourselves, our habitual defenses.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll grind that down. And then I have to really experience it. And I have to feel the things that I normally would protect myself from. And that's a way of having growth. Now, the resistance is the pain. So if I decide to fight it, it's going to hurt a lot more. But if I decide to feel it and be like, okay, what am I protecting? Maybe loneliness, maybe feeling unworthy, whatever it is, I have to now feel it. And it's going to push me that far because there's that intelligence. It's what I have to work on at that moment. And so in this case, part of the lesson I was working on in my course was excess importance. So I held a lot of anger and feelings towards the people involved. And I had to learn how to feel through and to let that go. So it was all perfectly timed. And it actually forced me to look at the way life happens. And I see people coming in. Illness, the body, by the way, is fully reflective of this intelligence. So I see people coming into the office with this, and there's always a stress involved. But I just look at life. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This world, this everything does not happen randomly. There is intelligence guiding it. And that helps me to thin my resistance because I know that there's a reason it's all happening. I know this is part of my growth.
I'm hanging on to every word. I'm not even kidding because I want to better understand all of this. And for those situations that present themselves where you don't want to deal with it. And you're right. I believe that if you resist it, it's going to hurt more. You're resisting it many times because of fear. It's a protection mode.
Yeah.
You're putting up the wall as opposed to letting it sting for a moment or a little bit of time. You just said loneliness. Okay. So maybe inside somebody, go hypothetical here, somebody has a fear of abandonment. Maybe that's because of and it probably is, from their childhood, and it's inside them. So what do? They just keep grabbing onto relationships just to be with somebody. I don't want to be alone. Okay, I'm with you. I have tomorrow night I'm with you, blah, 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 and on and on and on, because they don't want to sit with themselves for fear of feeling empty. So what do? They surround themselves with people that don't support them, maybe take advantage of them. And it's just a roundabout way of you eventually learning the lesson as opposed to just learning it now, just being aware of it. I want to go back to two words you said.
Yeah.
Intelligence guided.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to apply that because we started here with things happen for a reason. There's a grand plan. Maybe we'll get with that in a second, but intelligence is guiding us. How do you define that intelligence?
Okay. I'm actually going to circle back to abandonment first because that's a
Sure.
beautiful core issue. A lot of us have it. That's one of
Mm-hmm.
mine. And so what happens for this intelligence to turn the screws is I'll end up, a series of events, whatever happens, and I'm bent out of shape because I feel abandoned. And then I will reach out to my support and they won't respond. You see, that's how the screws get turned. They'll respond 100 times out of 100 until I need them at that moment, because that'll drive me 10 times deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Because and then underneath that, I realize that loneliness is not true. That what the truth is underneath that is love. Underneath that is our connection, my connection to my creator. Underneath that is unconditional. But
Yep.
first, I have to feel through that fear.
Mm. That connection is to you.
Exactly.
You.
Exactly.
Mm. Yeah, because
And my
you're not getting any
creator.
more unconditional love, any greater unconditional love than the love you give yourself.
And that, for anyone in a relationship, romantic in particular, until that's cleared, we have tendencies towards toxic codependency because we need the other person to fill a hole
Yep.
so we can cover up finding ourselves. And it definitely, and it's a dance. So the intelligence, one of my favorite questions, I think I told you this last time, when the bad things happen, what am I supposed to learn from this? What did I learn from this? What's the growth opportunity? Why is this happening? Because that intelligence, and I was actually I was just on call with a reality transurfing coach, and if you've ever played a video game, you see, we can't come up with the meaning of life, but what I can tell you is everything is reflective. So what we see as life and meaning of life is going to be reflected in, of, and by our consciousness. Video games and movies are very close to that. So I am playing this game on what would be hard or expert mode, the game of life. The depression, all that other nonsense I put myself through leveled me up to it. I put myself through what I'd call suffering, and anyone that's been through it wouldn't ever wish it on another person, wouldn't trade it for the world because of what I've had to learn. And so you start off a game, you see, everything we know is wrong because we start off relatively complete as babies. We're a blank slate with infinite potential.
Yep.
And then we get taught this nonsense of, oh, you can't see a ghost. Oh, their telepathy is not real. They have it between twins all the time. It's insane. Uh, You can't heal yourself. You can't blah blah blah. And it's all the things we can't. And we get taught to not be creative. We get indoctrinated through schools. And if you don't believe that, then schools keep getting worse. Harvard now has learning algebra on their curriculum. You're getting to Harvard without algebra. Kind of crazy. So um, we come in as a blank slate, and I equate it to pin the tail on the donkey. Again, a reflection of consciousness, blindfolded and spun around a few times to make it harder. So we do the hokey pokey, and first thing we have to do is figure out that it's a game. Then start trying to find out what the rules are. Like
Hmm.
everyone says, be yourself. Well, who tells you how to find yourself? Who tells us to have the courage to open our heart to like to feel that love and to stand up like honest to God, I'm going to tell you this, my biggest regret and is not sitting with that kid that was alone at a lunch table.
Hmm.
Like that's what I feel it is to be a whole person, to be like, you know what, I'm going to do a little bit that's going to mean the world for another person. And that's not actually my biggest regret, but it is a regret if that's the worst thing I've ever done. So it's like a video game, though. First, we figure out that we're actually playing a game, then start to figure out how to play the game. Like, this is where you start learning things about manifestation, reality creation. We have been co-creating reality the whole time. You can look at it. Your biggest fears, everyone gets their own personal, customized heaven and hell. We create it right here with our own
Wow.
consciousness. And so then how do we begin to control this? How do we begin to not get steered and blown around by the outside forces and to start to have that influence and to be able to help ourselves and those around us? And so it's like a video game. We get bosses at the end of the level. We get challenges. We could call them devils, whatever it is. And
Hmm.
we have to find that strength, that skill, that whatever in ourselves, level up. And, we build our faith, we build our trust, we increase our vibration, and then we're on the next level and we're playing, and the game gets better and better as we progress. That's a rough analogy. And you tie that in with the dream analogy. This reality is similar to a dream. It is a consciousness created reality. And we begin to get a feel because in truth, we are the unlimited under the illusion that we have limits. So the whole game is just the unlimited can never experience learning something, accomplishing something, overcoming a fear. All of those feelings are unique to being a limited creature. So it's kind of cool.
I love the video game analogy, and I'm picturing it. And yes, when you do the work, quote unquote, you get to the next level.
Yeah.
And then when you master something else, let's say you don't get triggered by something anymore. You've figured it out. Or when situations present themselves, instead of having it marinate for a day, 2, 3, a week, or whatever, you deal with it, you understand it, and you let it go to the side. You just got to another level, or a step to the next level. Is it
Yeah.
fair to believe, Chris, in this video game of life, if we use this analogy, that we're writing the rules? We make the rules. We don't realize that we have the power to make the rules.
We write the script, we write the rules, we do everything. And
Yeah.
that's, circling back to health, it's like when people come in with, weird stuff, okay, what's your stress? Because they're destroying themselves. One of the biggest things, people that overwork will eventually not be able to work because their body will shut them down because they are so far off
Mm,
their path. Literally, this is like when you play a video game and you don't even know how to use the controls and you're just going around in circles.
right. And you can't even find yourself. Like, well, where am I? And
Yes.
you're moving the mouse around, and like I don't even know. It's dark in here. There's, let's say it's a car based game. You're driving, you got off the road. Now it's like, uh, what? How do I get back to the road? I don't even know where it is because you're so far gone.
Yeah.
You're so
And
far gone.
and the controller is the lightest touch. If you know anything about manifestation, the way it works is you set the intent and you let it go. So a lot of us are using force and effort, which actually pushes everything away because we're putting too much emphasis on it. It's an aggressive energy. So literally, we're there playing, we're sweating, we're holding the controller, and the controller's not even plugged in.
And you're like,
And we're
come on,
screaming.
come on, come on. The thing you manifested. Come on, show.
And we end up getting the opposite. We end up pushing it away because we become obsessive. We don't trust, we don't open, we don't vibrate at that frequency. We're still in that place of fear. So the fear literally is going to push it away.
That's a tough one.
Oh, it's all paradoxical. It is extremely tough. It's kind of funny though. Now I know people who are brilliant manifestors. That's something that I'm currently working on. I had to clear out some shadows first because that will happen. The subconscious will send me what's cooking underneath. So until it clears out, I sort of hamstrung myself a little bit. That's how the game works.
Mm.
But I went on a retreat and I did a deep dive and I cleared some real deep. That was one of the abandonment and loneliness. I was at this retreat, felt it physically like an elephant on my chest, existential loneliness for about 12 hours. Woke up the next morning still feeling it. Do a meditation, everything cleared, and all of that area that was like in pain was now free and open. So my vibration was through the roof. I went and climbed a tree, and the more I became settled, that's when I saw animals coming out of the woods, including a bear with her cub and a stag.
Like real.
This is all for real. This is right in front of me, for real. And that was pretty cool.
All right, I want to interject here. You're at a pinnacle point of realization in your life
Yes.
at this retreat. It's almost like the sun came out in this one situation that you freed yourself from.
Yeah.
Now you see a bear, you see a cub.
Uh-huh.
Go back to things happen for a reason. They presented themselves to you while you're up in this tree.
Yeah.
I'm guessing for a reason.
It was because the knowing that I got was that the world is reflecting me. My consciousness is reflected inside and out. And what's funny is because this is a multi-part story. There's fake ladybugs. They're called Asian beetles. They swarm and they bite. So I'm at the retreat. Let's say there's, 20 something people, the participants, staff, whatever. We're there for a week. And this woman is like, "Oh, look, ladybugs." I'm like, "Those aren't ladybugs. Those are fake ladybugs and they're real pricks. And they're mean and they have
Mm,
mean faces."
mm.
Well, guess who got bit twice by these things, including that morning after I climbed the tree? No one else got looked at crosswise. They bit me twice the day after I started talking smack about them because there's
Ah.
intelligence. You
Well,
see, I manifested it, and at the high vibration, things come right back. So I get home from the retreat, and my son says, "Hey, Dad, can we go to the pawn shop?" I'm like, "Why do you want to go to the pawn shop?" And he's like 12. He's like, "I want to get a samurai sword. They had one there when we went a few years ago." I'm like, "Well, if we go, I'm going to get a big fat honking flamethrower. Like, not even a joke one, not that Elon Musk one, a real flamethrower." We went 3 days later. They didn't have a samurai sword, but they're on the wall right in front of me. For the first time in my life, I saw a flamethrower.
you were just joking.
Uh, but you see, I said it. I sent it out there. There was no attachment. There was no weight. There was no nothing. I did not buy the flamethrower, but it was because it was completely clean. I just sent the balloon out there.
And you didn't even think about it because you pretty much were just kind of, I'm going to get a flamethrower when we go there.
Uh,
Ah, like, ha,
and
ha,
there we
ha.
are we're in the pawn shop, and I call my son over. I'm like, "What is this?" You
Wow.
know?
Uh, and this is also the energy. So, example, and this backs exactly what you're saying. I have an old Jeep. I just use it for kayaking and just bouncing around. The insurance, which is stripped down because it's old, the thing is like 25 years old. It costs more than the Jeep, but
Mhm.
it's got an engine that won't quit. People love these older Jeeps, et cetera, et cetera. I used to have a lot of problems with it. Like as you break down, like driving, the serpentine belt blows. I'm like, come on, like you piece of junk. Come on. I kept putting that negative energy into it and it kept breaking down.
Yeah.
So I flipped it around. I love you. I love you for what you are. You bring me, you take me and my kayaks to my Zen spot in Cedar Beach. And
Yeah.
I put them out there and I float around, and that's my happy spot. Thank you, Jeep, for I haven't had any issues with it. And just the other day, and for like a year, a couple of years, just the other day, I had a power steering leak. I take it
Yeah.
into the shop and I'm like, yeah, can you take a look at this? And the man says, don't bring it in here. I have to charge you $250. He goes, go across the street, get a hose. It's a return hose in your power steering fluid. You can fix it. It'll take you $15 and 15 minutes and you'll be done. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, thank you, Jeep. Thank you, Jeep. And it'll keep running. It's rusting to hell. It's a mess. But my point here is, like you said with the flamethrower, it's the energy you put into it. You put good energy into something, you're going to get something back from it. That's
Yes.
the
And
universal rule.
that's the body too. People come in, they say, I'm getting old. That's why. I'm like, please don't say that. Your body's listening.
Yeah, totally.
People, people, oh, my stupid knee. Oh, this. I'm like, you're holding on to an injury from 25 years ago, and you're telling your body to hold on to it. Let it
Yep.
go.
Yep.
You can heal. Just because medicine says you can't, I promise. Leave the room open for miracles. They'll surprise you.
And we all have our share of some health issues whatsoever. Um, People say I look younger than I am. Not going to tell you. And it's me and my friend who's 1 year older than me. And we always say the same thing. We're just little kids having fun. And that's
Yeah.
how we believe. That's which, we're responsible, but we're just little kids having fun. And he and I, we always get the same compliment. How old? Because it's the mindset, it's the energy, as opposed to, oh, my back's killing me today. Oh, this is bad. Oh, yeah. No, no, I just not me. I refuse to. That's the way I'm wired.
And it is a choice. And Steve, you
Choice.
really nailed it. And I'm actually the book that I'm working on. Um, I am considering shifting the beginning slightly to emphasize we are reality creators. Whether or not we choose to do it consciously is what matters. We cannot choose not to do it. And, you know, look around, look at the crazy things that have happened in life. Look at the coincidences, look at the synchronicities, look at the patterns. We all have our unique pattern sets. And right there, that is the intelligence. We are the intelligence when we're open to it, when we let ourselves go there.
I'm right there with you. And I'm a student learning this along the way.
Yeah.
And part of that, I believe, is the curiosity of a kid. So something happens in your life. Why did that happen?
Yeah.
What's the takeaway? What's the lesson? Yeah, maybe it stings. Yeah, it hurts. I get it. But look at what the opportunity came from that situation. And where are you now? Did it move your life forward? And can it? And think that it will, instead of just wallowing in, and we all do it. The pity party, the just I'm in the victim mode. It's set and forget. Move on to the next. Move on to just keep going. Just keep swimming, like Dory said. Just keep swimming. Go forward with it. It's amazing. All right. Before we even wrap up today, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Is it everything that we're creating is happening around us for us? Is it all us, or is it a grand part of it? Is it a grand plan? Maybe the divine has a plan. I'm trying to differentiate between those two entities, if that makes sense.
Yes. And first off, what you had just said, I want anyone listening to know if you keep playing that because and joy, you said joy, not kind of throw joy into that makes it more and more powerful. Like a kid having fun with the curiosity. It's all that matters. So for the big plan, um, I almost view it as each one of us would be like one of those plastic sheets that has, the drawings on it and it's animated, and the overlay the other plastic sheets. Kind of like that, kind of like,
Animation cell. Animation
yes,
cells.
exactly.
Yep.
So we overlap like Venn diagrams. That's sort of how I would put it. And yes, there is the biggest picture. Um,
But is it being determined, our reality, everything that happens around us, whether we're aware of it or not, are we creating what happens to us in life? Or are we creating a part of it? But the other part, whatever the percentage is, we don't know, is the grand plan, the universal plan, divine, whatever it is. You follow where I'm going with that?
I follow exactly where you're going, and since I don't know where the line can be drawn, I'm not sure. But right now, in terms
Or
of
is there a line? Is there two parts? And we're not drawing, we can't say, well, it's
the
10%
truth
this
is
and
no.
80.
The truth is no. The truth is it would be like having when a water forms a whirlpool. Is that whirlpool separate from the water? Are the eddies separate from the river? They're all part of it, but they operate seemingly in their independence. Ultimately, this is going into Tao Te Ching, but ultimately, there is only one.
One
And
what?
ultimately, there isn't even one. There's what comes before that is what ultimately there is. But it is the one folding upon itself enough times instantaneously, giving the illusion of separateness. I dive deep into what am I? All I know is I am a specific frequency, and that is my fingerprint. That is what this fragment of
Hmm.
consciousness finds itself as.
We have jumped deep into a rabbit hole right here.
I
And
love it.
we're out of time. Me too. Me too. Because I'm trying to figure that out. How much we create. Is it all, or is our creation supplemented by something called the universe, something called God, divine, whatever you want it to be? Is it exclusively us, or is it also codependent on that other entity, whatever that entity may be? Um, Stay tuned. I can tackle that another day.
How about this, Steve?
Sure.
Don't sell yourself short. To everyone out there, don't sell yourself short. We are the unlimited.
I completely agree. We have unlimited possibilities. We
Yes.
limit ourselves. That's a given.
Yes.
I just wonder how much, I don't want to use the word interference, but how much support is also given to us by another entity. Or is it, like you said, I agree with you a billion percent. Two babies born, forget about what color they are, their background, their race. Let's say they're equally healthy, clean slate. They're the same. They're the same. And now their life goes on. They get older. They get older. They start making choices. Those choices are influenced by their subconscious, on and on and on and on. And now they're adults, and on and on and on and on. Everything that happens to each of those babies and forward, did they have that choice? Did they have that free will? Did they create their reality in that video game?
Okay, real quick. Free will is a paradox. All of the great masters, living saints, all that stuff, everyone has said the same exact thing. If you want to fix the world, fix yourself.
Hands down.
So that I hope answers your question because that's the straightest answer I know.
Gotcha. Yeah. And before you can fix yourself, you need to love yourself.
Exactly.
We are out of time. It's like lots to think about today. Man, that went deep. But again, lots to think about. Chris, I know that you have different ways you support people. How do we connect with you?
So my acupuncture website, scarsdalehealth.com, contact info on there. The coaching, level3coaching.org. And that has the other information on there. You can get to me through either one, and I'll get back to you.
Great talk today. Thank you for the different camera angles on all of this, and I'll be thinking a lot today.
Always a
Good
pleasure,
stuff.
Steve. Thank you.
Same. Thanks, Chris. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.